But it is wine time. With that as the backdrop, on Monday, the NFL attempted a mock draft to work out the kinks, to fix those little snags before the curtain comes up on the main event. And how did that go? Well, I guess it depends on who you believe. If you missed it, the Bengals at number one, they had technical difficulties. They had a glitch during the dress rehearsal. It's kind of like if you do a Broadway show or junior high school musical, something like that, high school musical. You have to practice, right? You have to practice, and then you have the dress rehearsal, and then you have the main event. So the NFL had their dress rehearsal, and the Bengals had some issues. Now, I love it because when I woke up, we were getting real-time updates from NFL insider types on social media. Adam Schefter was among those who was having a field day with the various reports that these other NFL executives could not wait to tweet Schefter. Not even tweet him. They were sending him text messages to Adam Schefter, and he was having a field day dealing with all the shortcomings that were going on. Multiple coaches and general managers were whining about bandwidth problems. Who knew that would be an issue here in 2020? One head coach said his internet went down. Why? Because his young children were all on their iPads using up the bandwidth. Yeah, okay. How about you step in and say, hey, knock it off. Ixnay on the game's day. Anyway, it's like a bad sitcom, what's going on in the NFL. It's pretty funny. So let us discuss the question, do you have any empathy for the NFL front office weasels who are complaining openly to Adam Schefter and other insiders about the virtual draft, which is going to take place on Thursday? Now, I do not. I do not have any empathy. I've got hissy fit, intrigue, I've got that, and I also have monopoly. So those three things is what I have, and we will tie all these things together and we'll make some baba ganoush. Now, number one. The people who work in NFL front offices have been nothing short of embarrassing the last couple of days here. Unable to adjust on the fly. Adaptability. These same people, when they draft players and they sign players, they want players that are versatile. They want players that are able to adapt. They apparently are unable to do the things they want the players to be able to do when they sign them to contracts. They are showing a lack of ability to adjust on the fly. Now, I don't care about these NFL executives having a tough week, having to deal with their laptop and bandwidth and all that stuff. We're all adjusting in one way or another to this particular situation. And if you go back over the last couple hundred years, roughly once every 100 years, you go back over the last couple hundred years, rather, every 100 years or so, we have a global health crisis that takes place. And whether it's the Spanish flu or the coronavirus now, or before that, there was the bubonic plague, you can go back and look. About every 100 years or so, give or take, we get some form of pandemic, and people have to show what kind of a grit they have, right? How you handle it. And these well-paid football savants are acting like spoiled babies. How about you grow some rhino skin? How about that? We take shots all the time. And I'm the first to admit it here behind the microphones at Fox. We take gratuitous cheap shots regularly when we talk about these players being prima donnas. And the same things we say about the players, we can say about the executives. We can attack the executives who are so apparently self-absorbed with their place, their lofty status in the NFL, that they are acting like overgrown toddlers. Listen, I work in radio. I get paid to have tantrums. I get paid to have hissy fits behind the microphone. If they would like a radio job, I'm sure they can get a radio job. But I don't care that you don't have your standard war room. Okay? Deal with it. You're a bunch of snotty-nosed crybabies is what you are. And listen, it's good for our show. We like the content. It's also unbecoming. I mean, what are you doing? Now, the second thing here, as we chat on Fox, this draft is guaranteed to be a cluster blank. It is going to be filled with blunders. I cannot wait. you have so many older technophobe types who either own or run front offices who are going to be handling this. I mean, Dave Gettleman, for example, Bill Belichick, these guys don't strike me as computer-savvy individuals, and they are going to be expected to draft players and have a seamless NFL draft, right? It is such a stunning dichotomy from baseball and basketball because the NFL still employs dinosaurs, card-carrying dinosaurs in the NFL in the front office. They have not had a total hostile takeover the way that baseball has with the Ivy League. And if baseball has to have a virtual draft, it would be no problem. These guys are on their computers all the time. They don't even talk to each other, these baseball executives. They're on the computer all the time. So I would expect a medley of glitches, of malfunctions. And my theory is that the NFL ought to embrace the mistakes, right? Rather than be freaking out and all that, cross the Rubicon. All right, cross the Rubicon here and just enjoy it, right? Absolutely enjoy it. Celebrate the uniqueness of this year because it's not going to be like this again, likely in our lifetimes, right? This is a once-in-a-lifetime deal, and then it'll be back to somewhat normal in future years. The NFL already has... if you look at how they do business, they already mandate that teams can't announce who they will select prematurely because they want to artificially cultivate the drama, right? They want to artificially cultivate the drama. For example, the Bengals have already decided to draft Joe Burrow. All right? We know that. And by most accounts, the Washington Redskins know who they're going to draft, Chase Young, out of The Ohio State University. That, outside of a trade, is written in concrete. This is simply another layer of intrigue, right? Makes it more compelling television. How is Bill Belichick going to react when his AOL goes down? How is he going to handle that? Like Pete Carroll, is he going to actually do the draft from the sauna? Like inside a sauna, and he's going to have his laptop. And then Dave Gettleman, will he be able to use a rotary phone to call in instead of using a computer? I mean, these are all open questions. And I think the most compelling question is not about Belichick, not about Gettleman, not about any of these older guys who are not known for their tech savviness in the NFL. The question that really is out there is, will the hackers get through? Have the NFL security people done enough? Can you imagine if we get to the middle of the draft and the hackers take over the NFL draft? How amazing would that be? And the whole party comes crashing down. Man, would that be good. Man, would that be good. And which team is most likely to have a technical snafu and botch a pick? Now, I got to point this out. I think it's important to point out, since we're mocking the NFL executives here. We have seen NFL teams, I've been doing this for a few years, and we have seen confusion and chaos under perfect situations. If you watch the draft every year, if it's a tradition in your household, you're a sports fan, you're listening to a sports radio show, chances are you watch the draft just like I do. Let's jump back in the hot tub time machine to the year 2003. All right, the year 2003. We're going like 17 years. The clock ran out on the Minnesota Vikings, and they slipped 2 spots as the Panthers and Jags jumped them in the NFL draft because the Vikings were trying to work out a trade. I think Mike Tice, if I remember, was the Viking coach, the guy that had the pencil behind his ear and all that, and they couldn't get the trade in time, and so 2 other teams passed them by on the clock. And the same thing happened to the Baltimore Ravens about 10 years ago, a little less than that. Ozzie Newsome was the GM, and he botched the clock. They were also trying to work out a trade. So it has happened multiple times. And more than that, I gave you 2 examples, but it's happened more than that, where teams have, in a perfect situation, with no pandemic and no virtual draft, have still effed up the draft process. All right, final point. So you do the best you can under the circumstances, which goes without saying. And you have to remember here, people are fallible. Mistakes are going to be made. I'm going to enjoy all of the mistakes. I make plenty of mistakes doing this radio show. I'm going to enjoy all the mistakes. Football executives these guys that are sending their little text messages to the NFL insider crowd are so out of touch with the real world. Like the pendulum of overreaction has swung so far to the football equivalent of the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Oh my God. They are coming across as totally unrelatable divas. All right, suck it up, buttercup, as the line goes. These are first world problems. And I don't need to give you the whole song and dance about how commerce, for the most part, has been shut down in America, that most non-essential business is being done right now via Zoom conferences. If you're lucky enough to still be doing any business, shout out to the video conference world, which is out there. And, as Belichick likes to say, we're not talking about open heart surgery here. Now, there is a silver lining. I am called Benny Brightside for a reason. There is a silver lining here with this draft. And I'll tell you what it is. In Monopoly, I'm going to use a Monopoly reference. In Monopoly, they have a get-out-of-jail-free card. And this NFL draft, every executive gets a get-out-of-jail-free card. All right? When certain teams screw up, and it's going to happen, and they become stumble bums in the 2020 draft, they have, as our friend Chris Carter said back in the day, they got to have a fall guy. They got a fall guy. Right? It ain't my fault. It's the computer's fault. And, if the draft was normal, we wouldn't have drafted that slob. We would have drafted somebody who was good. Blame the high-speed modem for not working, clouding your judgment and all that. So that's what you have. And that's the reality of the 2020 NFL draft.